580 CFRA.
Now back to Sunday Night with Rabbi Bulka on News Talk Radio 580 CFRA.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Just as a preamble to what we're about to experience on radio, which is quite exciting, this afternoon in our synagogue in Virginia Drive, we had the 21st Annual Celebration of Life, which really celebrates organ donation. It celebrates families that are either living donors or deceased donors. Their families coming together to give thanks for the gift of life that they have received. And in the course of the day, we were treated to a most unique experience in the presentation of a very lovely couple, Marianne and Bill Graham. And their story, I don't want to give it away, their story is one that left everyone shall we say, inspired. And it's with great pleasure that I welcome to the program tonight Marianne and Bill Graham. Welcome, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's great to have you, and I've seen you close enough to our thing tonight that I still can visualize what you look like. So thank you very much for joining us, and I want you, rather than me, to tell the story of what brought you to the program today. So
Sure.
who's going to talk?
Well, I'll start, I guess, since it started with my story of kidney disease. I was diagnosed with what they call polycystic kidney disease, which is a genetic disease that affects the cells in your kidneys and basically causes them to expand into cysts, and eventually over time the cysts take over most of the kidney, and they also get big, and the kidneys get bigger and the cysts get bigger, and eventually it causes the kidney function to deteriorate over time.
I understand that most people have cysts in their kidneys. It's not unusual, but I guess this is when it gets out of whack.
Yeah, I think that, people can get one here and there. When they mean but polycystic, they mean lots and lots.
Lots
really.
and lots, right.
Yeah, and on both kidneys at the same time as well. And, it's a genetic disease. It's passed down, although, in my case, neither of my parents had it. So there are some cases where people get it as a spontaneous mutation, they say. So that's what happened in my case. At least that's what we think. And I think it was around 2000 that I was diagnosed with PKD, as it's known. And, that was kind of a shocker to find out that you had a kidney disease out of the blue. And then, you start seeing a nephrologist, which is a kidney specialist, and then you start to monitor your kidney function over time. And, they've got to the point where they can pretty well kind of predict where you're going to start to need treatment. And I was sort of entering into that zone in 2000, which is 3 years ago, obviously, and around the spring of 2007.
You're looking at dialysis, in other words, right?
Yeah. That's when I was. The doctors were saying, you have to get treatment for this sometime in the near future. And we'd never really thought about live donor. Getting a donation, kidney donation, or from a live person. It hadn't really thought about it, although, the doctor mentioned it. There is a live donor program, and if you have someone that's crazy enough to donate a kidney to you, then, you might want to go that path. And that sort of started us down that path. It wasn't initially the first thought, but that's where we went. And, it was a matter of getting tested to make sure I was healthy enough to go, through the surgery, and also for Marianne to be healthy enough to be a donor. And,
well, hold it. Now we're jumping here.
Oh, okay.
Who is this lady, Marianne?
Well, that's my lovely wife. I'll let her introduce herself then.
Okay, so Marianne, you're the other Graham.
I am.
Right, so it's ironic, you were actually were you a perfect match
Not at all.
for Bill?
Nope, there's no need, because of all the incredible strides we've made, the research has made, is that you don't need a direct family. There's so many more possibilities. There's a specific test that they look for that will give you a sense of the risk of rejection. And they basically take my cells and Bill's cells and they put it in a Petri dish, and if they get along really well, and they do that a few more times and they keep getting along, then there's a really high possibility that there won't be a rejection.
Now, if they don't get along in a Petri dish, does marriage counseling help?
Yeah. There's a lot of jokes about that. Really? There was no argument in the Petri dish? So it was really tense as far as finding out and making sure that, and even the day before the transplant, we went ahead and did a few more tests that's required. Just to make sure, because things can happen in your physiological state, and even the night before. So we were very, very, very lucky, very blessed indeed, that we were told. I was actually at a cottage. Bill had gone back to work, and I stayed at a cottage with my family, and we got a call from the living donor coordinator from the Riverside and General Hospital, and she said, "Are you sitting down?" I said, "Why?"
Right.
How's 10 days from now? And I had to sit down.
Right.
So it was pretty exciting.
Tell me, how, when did it dawn on you that you could be a donor for your husband?
As Bill was saying, it just kind of was a natural process. Bill needs a kidney. I'm a universal donor as far as blood type. Let's go for it. There was really not a lot of discussion. Our kids were very, very aware of all of the excitement of it all and the unknown and the mystery, and we had 100% trust in the doctors and everyone else who was working with us. Every appointment was made for us. It was incredible care. And the process was really a natural one. It was exciting. It was scary. It was inspirational. We met a lot of other people going through similar things, and it really wasn't a second thought. And you do actually meet up with a social worker and a psychologist, and I don't know how, but I passed the psychology discussion, and they just want to know that
they want to make sure that you're not crazy.
Well, or that someone hasn't coerced you, or that you are fully aware. And I always like it when people say, "Oh, it's much harder on the donor," and I just like to milk that one for a little bit. So. Right.
Now, did you extract any concessions from your husband? Like after that, he has to take you on a trip around the world, or something like that?
We did go to Greece the next year, but that was something we had already decided ahead of time. So,
right. So you basically have gained no material benefit from this.
No, you're not allowed to.
Right.
Bummer.
That is true.
I do more dishes, I think.
He does.
Yeah. I think I do.
Right. And from what we heard this afternoon, you have to do the snow tires.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's not an easy job.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we joke about it, but it's very difficult when you see someone, and I'm sure everyone understands this, if you've been through this situation, when you see an able-bodied person slowly deteriorate and then quickly deteriorate, and they want to get up and do stuff, and they want to do normal things. And the last time he did those snow tires, when he was getting much sicker, it was so painful for him. When you have 40 pounds worth of kidney sitting next to your rib cage, all filled with cysts and all very painful, it's very difficult to do your normal things. And
Did you say 40 pounds?
Yeah, his kidneys are about 20 pounds each.
Were?
Are?
Yeah, I still have my native kidneys. They don't take them out unless they have a good reason to. So you actually end up with 3. Most people with a kidney transplants, usually have 3 kidneys.
Yeah, 20 because a kidney is a small little thing.
Yeah, yeah. That's the problem with PKD, is that a lot of the problems that people with the disease are more to do with the kidneys themselves growing bigger. A lot of people have back pain. Some people get a lot of infections and things like that. So there's a lot of secondary symptoms from PKD that can be nasty.
So they basically decided they could have taken. Would there be a danger in taking him out?
Yeah, I think it's a bigger. It's for someone with PKD, taking them out is a big job. I think is a big surgery.
So wait, do you know? So they put the kidney in the kidney area, but nestled in the other kidney, or how do they do that?
No, when they put in a kidney, they put it in your usually in the lower right abdomen. So it's kind of at just where your hip is almost, just above your hip. It tucks in there. So it's not the normal spot you'd expect, but it's close. They put it close to where your bladder is, if you get that idea.
And how are you feeling?
Great. Yeah. I mean, ever since, recovering from the surgery, started to feel better almost right away and been feeling great ever since. So, my kidney function's back to normal. So that makes a big difference. And just having the energy and the freedom to do whatever, travel, work, things like that.
Great.
That's the thing with dialysis. I mean, younger people do quite well, but eventually it takes its toll. And also you're tied to, whatever system you're using, whether you're going into the clinic, 3 times a week, or you're doing it at home, you've got machinery or things like that. You're very tied down with dialysis.
Right.
So.
But you guys are very young.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're. How old were you, Bill, when you had the surgery?
2000. So I was just turned 40. The September before. So yeah, it is kind of early. PKD patients don't always. Usually they're older when they go into kidney failure. Although it can be younger and older, but generally older. So yeah, I was kind of surprised that the kidney function deteriorated that quickly, but it's hard to predict.
Right.
When how long you're going to be on. How long you're going to last. So.
Can you stick with us for a few more minutes? We have just a few commercials now. We come back.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're talking to Marianne and Bill Graham, a husband and wife team that has done something quite unique. The wife gave her husband one of her kidneys. He is alive, and she is delighted. We'll be back right after these messages.